Why is pawn structure crucial in chess Rook Endgames? Imagine you're in a race, and your path is blocked or open depending on how you arrange your obstacles. In chess, pawn structure acts like those obstacles, shaping how your pieces move and fight. When the game reaches the Rook Endgame phase, how your pawns are arranged can decide whether you win or lose. First, think about passed pawns. These are pawns that have no enemy pawns blocking their way to promotion. In Rook Endgames, a passed pawn can be a game changer. It forces your opponent's rook to stay close and defend, which can give you the chance to push forward or create threats elsewhere. A well-supported passed pawn can even distract the enemy rook, giving your king or other pieces more room to maneuver. Next, consider doubled pawns. These happen when two pawns sit on the same file. Many see doubled pawns as weak because they can't support each other well. But if they are protected and shield other pawns, they can be surprisingly strong. In Rook Endgames, doubled pawns can block your opponent's rook from penetrating your position. They can also serve as a barrier, making it harder for the enemy rook to find good squares. Backward pawns are another key element. These are pawns that lag behind because they lack support from other pawns. In Rook Endgames, backward pawns are often targets. The opponent's rook can attack them easily, forcing you to defend and lose time. Losing pawns in this way can give the opponent a material advantage, which might lead to a winning endgame for them. Connected pawns and pawn chains also matter. When pawns support each other directly, they form a strong line that can block the enemy rook. A chain of pawns can limit your opponent's mobility and create a safe zone for your king and rook to operate. This kind of structure makes it harder for the opponent to break through and can help you push for a pawn promotion. The placement of pawns influences rook activity a lot. Rooks work best when they can move freely along open files or behind pawns. If pawns are placed behind your rook, it can slide along the rank or file easily, controlling key squares. But if pawns are in front of your rook, they block its movement and reduce its influence. So, positioning pawns behind your rook often leads to more active and flexible play. In practical terms, think about the Lucena position. It shows how a rook behind a pawn can help you win by preventing the enemy rook from attacking your pawn and enabling a safe pawn promotion. On the other hand, the Philidor position demonstrates how a solid pawn structure can hold a draw by blocking the opponent's rook and keeping your king safe. To sum up, pawn structure in Rook Endgames is like the blueprint for success. It controls how your rooks and kings move, influences your chances of promoting pawns, and shapes the overall strategic battle. Understanding how to arrange your pawns can turn a tricky endgame into a winning one.